Not your average tabletop. Woohoo!
Hey everyone, welcome back to Not Your Average Tabletop. I'm Mac.
And I'm Zach.
And I'm Pepper.
And today, continuing on in our Stonemaier journey, we are doing a CHIPPI review of the game Wingspan.
Yes, the very hot
To try.
Stonemaier game.
The hidden gem.
The hidden gem. I don't think too many people have heard of this one. No, I think this one is the most sold Stonemaier game. I think it's sold at least over 1 million copies, possibly coming close to 2 million. I'm not exactly sure where they're at.
Cite your sources, sir.
I think
It's soaring high.
it's soaring high.
How many bird like jokes can we get into this video?
Not anymore. But yeah, so this one's already had a couple expansions. I think there's still going to be more to come with
People
all the
are
different
still
continents.
flocking to this game.
Wow. They are flocking to this game, and that is one of the abilities you can use in the game. Yes. If you don't want any bird puns, definitely go check out some of our other videos instead and see those for other Stonemaier games or other videos as well.
Yeah, plug.
But yeah, so we'll just get into the.
Are you going to explain the CHIPPI scale for us?
If you want to know how the CHIPPI works, go look at some of our other CHIPPI reviews of Stonemaier Games, and I've explained it almost every time. But I don't want to explain it this time. They're going to figure it out on their own.
Yeah. Well, we do say it every time we start a new section, so.
Well, you never know. It's always a new audience, hopefully.
Yeah,
that's the hope.
That's true.
We're hoping we're bringing in the birders for the big year.
We're hoping that you flock to us.
Okay. But anyway, we will get right into the core mechanisms of the game. The C in CHIPPI. And I'm just going to start us off with a big old 10. I just really love the card abilities. Just the way that they can chain together and how you can kind of get things to, when you're taking certain actions in the game, you can kind of have that activate, then that activate, and sometimes they can chain together. I really like how that works, and I like when you get to activate them over and over again. I would say that sometimes it could see how someone might get a little bored of it at the end of the game when you're kind of just doing the same thing over and over again. Just because it is the best or the optimal move for points. So I could see that being a little bit of a negative. But I can see past that after lots of plays of this. I still really like how that works, and I just understand that that's kind of part of the end game, I think. The action selection is also very simple. It's not like you're having too many options to think of. You kind of just are laying eggs, playing a bird, gaining new cards, or gaining food. So that's just all really simple stuff. I think it's got so much good stuff going on in just such an easy to learn way to do it. And I can see why this one has been, I think, not only like a success in like the board game community, but also probably brought in some people from maybe the bird watching, birding community as well, and it has been easily accessible for kind of people that may not be into board games either.
You gonna go? Okay.
You go.
Alright, so for my core mechanics, I gave it a 6.5. The things I love about these mechanics are things that I also have problems with. And so, like Zach said, the options are very simple. You either play a bird, grab some eggs, go to the feed the bird, what is it, the birdhouse?
Food.
Yeah. Get that, or you get bird. So like you do have like only 4 options on what to do with your turn, but the problem is that depending on what you're doing, like it can be a struggle. Like if you cannot get the food you need to build birds, if you cannot get like birds that you need for a goal or something, or if you just can't make the birds you've been given work, I feel like it's really hard to build that engine. And I don't know. That's something I personally struggle with. I don't know that it's necessarily a reflection on the game, because some people like Zach can take any card he's given and turn it into something.
Have you seen my scores?
Lately,
I don't even get good scores.
Lately, you've been having a rough time.
Yeah.
But like I always have a rough time. I always have a rough time. So I love those, like, you know, those mechanics. I think it's great. It's really simple. It's easy. It's approachable to follow along with. It's just making them work for you is the part that I have a difficulty with. So,
Yeah.
and that's probably just more me than anything. But there's not really a way out of it either. You know, you can get 2 food for the price of 1, but if you can't build your cards up to the point where you get 2 food, well, then you got to spend 2 actions when you have limited actions, and you know, so
Yeah.
just
yeah.
me.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm crossing over with one of you here. Can you guess which one it is?
Yeah.
It's a 10. 10 core
You
mechanics.
guys nod along like you agree with me, and then you're like,
Yeah.
just kidding, it's 10.
It's so smooth, and there's so much to the cards. It has what places it can go, it has what food it costs, it has the points, it has how many eggs, and the type of nest, a possible effect, immediate effect, or ongoing effect, and
Wingspan.
the wingspan, and the bird fact, and the great artwork, which we'll get to later.
I was
Don't
gonna say,
know
it
why-
has nothing to do with
Don't
core
know why I
mechanics,
decided
Jess.
it's just so great. I had to mention it. But yeah, there's so much to the cards, but I think they're laid out perfectly. And that's also not really core mechanics, but
But it interacts with
It
some of
does.
the things in the game, like
It
the
does.
goals and stuff.
yeah, yeah.
Some other things as well.
It's just there's just little things interacting between everything, and it's still so smooth.
hmm
It's phenomenally designed.
hmm Yeah, I would agree. And
Excellent.
an excellent design. And yeah, even with the 2 expansions that we've played, I feel like you bring in all those and it still all continues to work, even with new things. You don't think so?
Yeah, it works.
Okay.
I barely,
It broke the game!
I barely played Oceania. I was
Yeah,
just
that's
thinking
true.
about it, and you thought my reaction was something more than it was, and I was just trying to think about it.
No, I was just thinking how they added...
just thinking
Coming
about
at me, they're like ready to like.
She's
be
just actually
the-
giving it thought, and we're like, "What are you saying?"
How?
No, there is
dare
nothing wrong
you.
with this. No, I just meant more like it's shocking that they could add that many more cards and then like new abilities and stuff, and it's still, I don't know. I guess I don't know it well enough, but it still doesn't feel like anything's like totally overpowered.
Yeah.
It all somehow too feels pretty balanced at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I don't know that that's the case, but I think apparently Elizabeth has, the designer, has like this spreadsheet of tracking like how strong cards are, like putting in all those different factors and stuff, and then
Wow.
like also to keep like so
That
like
is a
kind of the
commitment.
goal cards have like the percentages. Trying to keep those all even, so like when they bring out a new expansion, it still has to all be even in that new expansion. So she can only use certain birds because I think she also does not like to just
Wow.
be like, well, that doesn't really. It's not like the same kind of nest or something as these
Yeah.
other ones.
She's
So I'm
like
just
my,
like, wow, that's. I mean, I think you can kind of feel it.
Yeah.
That it does feel that way.
Yep.
she's like my
There are
new
strong ones,
idol. Like that's impressive.
But
You
yeah.
go, girl.
Well, now what are you going to give it for a core mechanism?
Still 6.5.
Wow.
Look, someone's got to be a dissenter.
That's true. We've also had a history with this game,
Yeah.
which is letter H, and I think we've all probably played it 10 times.
10, yep,
So it gets a
easily.
perfect 10 there.
Oh yeah, this baby was brought to the table, I think, weekly for quite a while. It
Oh
was.
man,
We were living, man. We were
We
living.
got it back in the day when it was very difficult to get,
It was.
which is crazy.
It was shocking because you're like, dude, this game is at the store for like less than it is on Amazon. Like, you're like, I
Yeah,
gotta
because
get
it was
it.
hard to get, and people were selling it on eBay for 2 or 3. Seemed like 2 or 3 times. Maybe it wasn't that much, but it seemed like.
It was like $100 online or
yeah,
something.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't think Jamie had any idea that it was going to be as popular as it was. I think if I had to guess, I don't know his actual thoughts, but if I had to guess, I would think he thought the bird theme might just not be popular. If I had to guess, I really, I'm
It turns
pretty
out
confident.
we're all
I'm pretty confident he
amateur
would have never guessed it
ornithologists.
was going to be this
Ornithologists?
big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For sure.
I think that the way they handled the bird theme If it was something different, like a cartoony type
Oh.
set in a bird world, I don't think that would have really done that well.
Yeah.
But just the way they handled it and the kind of realism in the facts and kind of grounding it in that really helps.
And it's funny, he always had like the Wingspan name as a name for a future game, but he originally was hoping it would be a dragon-themed game. So it's funny how that ended up being this,
Well, they say-
realistic bird
They
game.
say birds are like dinosaurs, right? So close.
Getting there. So then we get into investment. We'll go with Michaela, since she hates the game.
Okay, let's just be clear. I do not hate the
You
game.
know how angry she was that she was forced to put 10 for history?
When she was talking about that earlier, it's 10. I've played it too many times.
There has to be the
How
ability.
can I unplay it?
There has to be the ability to accept different opinions, boys. You're lucky I'm a strong woman who can handle this, but others might not be. They might think I'm like in danger or something. Like, don't worry, guys, I got them. Okay, so for investment, I put a 7. I just the replayability. I mean, it's the same game. You know, it's different depending on the card you get, but it's basically the same game. Okay, and I mean, what are the other factors of investment that we're talking about? Setup, that's fine. You know, nothing too crazy with that. I do feel like the game maybe it depends on how the game goes, because if a game's going okay, then it's a decent length. But if it's not going okay, then I'm like, this is too long. It's too long for me. Not a fan. So, and that's just probably again more so coming from like me not being able to hack this game than anything else. But
Yeah, when you can, when it's just turn after turn after turn, and someone has their engine going, and
Yeah.
you're just struggling and
Yeah.
going to get food multiple turns in a row, getting
Yeah.
one at a time, trying to get something,
Right.
it can drag on.
yeah,
Mhm.
like when Zach's tucking like 28 cards, and I'm like, I just need a worm. I just need a worm.
Everything but a worm.
Wow.
So, that's it for me.
I'll give it an investment of a 10. Yeah, I think the setup and teardown, that's not too bad. It's pretty. I think the only part of setup that can take a little while is the shuffling of cards. But when you have every card is different, I think that makes it more worth it to me to
Yeah.
shuffle it and
Yeah.
Oh,
put
yeah.
that time into shuffling them. If you had duplicate cards and stuff, then it wouldn't probably.
Yeah.
It would kind of be more of a pain, but I do like that they're all
Yeah.
completely different.
Yeah.
I think the game is just the right amount of time, because it's almost always, well, there's two things. It's almost always either you're just, like you said, doing the same action over and over again, or else you're like, I wish I had one or two more actions because I really want to get this bird played to maybe do a goal, and maybe it's a high scoring bird, but it's going to take you have to do one more thing, either get like eggs or get one more food thing, and then play the bird. Whereas you just might miss that out by like one turn, and that's just it's like shoot. But I really like that, and I really like how it just plays so differently each time.
Yeah.
And with the expansions, I'm assuming that's just going to make it more and more replayable
Yeah.
as you go.
Yeah, I have a 9 for this. Just all the unique bird powers, and like we said, the setup and playtime is pretty good, I think. It's a good flow to the game, and it is kind of the same game every time, in a way. It's just kind of how good you do it, how efficient your engine is. But I do think that the expansions do add different types of bird powers that do actually make it feel different. They have like end of round bonuses, as well as end of game bonuses as well. Which
And like in between turn ones.
That was in the base,
Yeah.
but yeah, they're
Oh, it
in
was?
the other one too.
yeah,
Yep.
yep.
I can't remember. They're all shuffled together.
It does make it confusing too, because the in between turns I think is like a pinkish red,
Yeah.
but the base box is like a bluish color,
Yeah.
so it kind
Oh.
of is like
You'd think the
you don't
blue was
realize that
better.
that goes with the base one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right, so let's move on to presentation.
And we're back on the 10 train here.
The second P.
The second P, as it is known here.
Sorry, you're on the 10 track?
Actually, yeah, that joke was introduced in a later video. that is not posted at the time of this.
Spoilers. Go watch our future video.
Of Libertalia.
Yes. But yeah, 10 out of 10. The production is amazing here. The eggs, all the art, unique art on every card. The bird feeder, the wooden dice, the awesome noise that they make when you roll them. And we got the upgraded, kind of 3D printed bits and birdhouses and some wooden birds as well. It's just a great production.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a 10 out of 10. This game is beautiful. It's so realistic looking. Like, they did great. It's amazing. Everything is very clear on the cards. It is all just great. Amazing. Like, I don't know how you could dissent. Like, even the backs of the cards are beautiful. Like, everything is just...
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna dissent, isn't he?
No. It's going to be a 3-way crossover for presentation of a 10. Yeah, the artwork is just amazing. It's all, I think, hand-drawn artwork, which is just really, really cool. I think if I was ever going to get bird art, which I don't think I will, but if I did, it would probably be prints of this type of bird art, because it's just really, really awesome. And yeah, I like the eggs. Like you said earlier, the cards are just laid out so perfectly. They have so much information on them, but it's just the way it was put together. It's just simple.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Once you, maybe if you're looking at it first, it's like, well, this is a lot going on here. But once you've played it, you kind of know, like, okay, well, I don't really have to necessarily be looking at all these at the same time. I can just narrow down my focus at certain areas. And I love the little bird facts. That wasn't necessary, but it's just a really nice little thing to do, especially since they're all different.
I've been trying to read them. I'm always like sidetracked by like thinking about what I need to do and like looking at the main piece of the card. So I'm like, these guys are always reading the bird facts, but I never remember to read the bird facts.
I never did until we filmed a playthrough for it, and I was like, we decided to read all those bird facts, and now after that I've been more into actually reading them.
And I never did think about the satisfying clink clink of the dice, but you're right, Jesse.
The wooden dice do have
that is a beautiful noise. I love it. Nope, that's a terrible reenactment. You're doing it disjustice.
It's much better than that.
You sound like the warbler.
Is that what a warbler sounds like?
I don't know.
It sounds exactly like that.
The funny name of the bird made me think of it.
But, okay, we will go to preference then.
Yeah.
Which, if you
I just want to cut the audio from that and play it over a video of rolling the dice.
It'll sound exactly the same as it would, I think.
Just from now on, the rest of the video just have Zach going blah 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 blah.
Wow. But yes, I will give preference for the actual second P.
Blah, blah, blah.
Wow. What's your preference, Maggie?
My preference is a 6. So this is it's a great game. It's just not the game that's high on my list to play.
Wasn't it on your top 50?
It is in my top 50. And
what? How is a 6 in your top 50?
Because if you want to play it every week, I'm not playing it every week. And if you want to play it every now and again, okay, that's fine. But I go into it mostly thinking just like, how can I not lose so badly this time? Like, that's all it is.
And that's in your top 50 games of all time.
It is.
You go into it saying, how can I not lose that badly? This game sucks.
Look, there's not a lot of love for the games that I've played, okay? So, like, considering that there are games that don't even make the top 50, I think you should be very grateful.
Well, I'm grateful of that. I'm just wondering how it is in the top 50. That's my real question.
Because I'm extremely picky about the games I like.
Okay.
Yeah, I never noticed. I always thought that
6.
I mean, I thought you've done well at the game, but I never noticed that you had an issue. Or
that's what I thought. That's a okay.
But I know he does. He can get on your nerves a little bit when he does.
And it could
when
be
he is
that
so successful.
We played it a lot when we first
Yeah.
got it, and so I feel like I've already said, I don't feel personally like the replayability is always there for me, just because it's like how am I not trying to lose this time, and just like fighting through the cards that you get sometimes. And so it really depends on what mood I'm in, and that's why I put it at a 6, because it's not one, no matter what mood I'm in, I want to play. Because if I've been losing games to Zach all day, I'm not gonna want to play Wingspan.
Interesting.
That's it, boys. Don't come at me, because I will come back.
Well, I'm going to give it a preference of 10.
Yeah, I know.
I think it scales decently well, but probably at the max player count, it would start to get a little long. Probably a little too long for my liking.
Yeah.
But I think it does play quite well at 2, which is our typical
Usual.
player count, so
Yeah.
that
2
is
to 4,
always good.
really.
Because sometimes I feel like with some of these games, they don't necessarily play well at 2, or they add like a bot thing or something that just kind of throws off the game.
Yeah.
But no, this one I think plays really well there.
It does.
And it's just quick. It's one that I'd like to play more and more, but now I found out why I don't get it to the table too often.
Because there are like 45 games ahead of this one on the list.
Yes, that is true.
I gave it a preference of 9.8.
Wow.
It's such a really good game, and I have been where Mac has been before, but it's a game that every time I play it, the love comes right back. I may be afraid to play it because last time Zach took 75 cards and whooped my butt, but when I
I
get
think you
back
guys
to
are
it,
inflating these numbers.
I feel like he thinks there isn't a Zach factor in all of this,
There's
but
a-
there 100% is. Anytime you play
Wow.
with
there it
Zach.
is. There it is.
It's not a bad thing, it's just...
You make it sound like I'm a horrible, horrible winner.
No.
But I don't feel like I am.
If anything, you're afraid to win because...
I am.
because
I
you
am.
know I'm going to be like,
Like
well...
the second I know I'm winning, I'm like, should I throw this intentionally to not, or should I start like pacing myself, like slowing down at the finish line so I don't get too far ahead? I seriously think that in my head.
And what do I always tell you? I say, no, I want a clean fight. That's that's what I want. Like,
Well, that's
you're
what I
not.
think you want, but then all of a sudden you're like, read the score, and then I'm like, this, and then it's the old roll the chair back, silence.
Silent move. Pick up the water bottle.
Look,
Walk upstairs.
it's called marriage to a competitive person.
Yeah, we're just lucky that I'm, not as competitive anymore, I think.
Yeah. Well, you don't need
That
to
way I
be
can-
because you clearly win.
But I've lost
And
this,
I'm not
like,
even
last 5 times.
it's more so at myself. Like, I'm frustrated with myself. But we can talk about that in a different
That
video.
has nothing to do with Wingspan.
Not really.
But
I've
Yeah.
accepted it now. So,
did we all do the preference?
Oh, yep.
yep.
So then we get into the it factor, which I'm just going to complete this out with a perfect 10.
Wow. Is there any way you didn't do a 10 there after all the others were 10s?
No. But no, I think the game has a very classic feel to it. It feels like a game that could be really loved for years and years to come. And I also just really, really love the theme. I think that turns some people off from it, and they just won't try it or like it because of the bird theme, but I was on the fish and wildlife team, so some of these birds I know a little bit more, just because it was kind of a test of kind of knowing, but it's just cool to kind of see those in a game, because you don't really, it's not like you
Yeah.
seeing them outside,
When else are
you
you
don't
going to
really
use your bird knowledge?
right, you're never gonna really see that, and that's why I would really I don't think they'd ever do it, but like I'd really like a fin span of different fishes and stuff, fisheries.
Wingspan.
It's the same type, pretty much the same type of game, but with fish instead.
I know, I just don't think fin span is an actual site.
Oh, it is
It's a
going to be
term.
fin span. It is,
Maybe it is, I don't know.
but no, it's awesome.
I gave it an id factor of 7, so I do think what this game does is pretty cool. Just overall, like the artwork, like all the cool pieces, you know.
Such a low number.
The end game scoring I think is really cool, and then how that kind of plays into the cards you get in your hand. Again, it's one of those things where like it really heavily depends on what cards you get, but you know that's not like the only way to get points. So I put it up, you know, here just because I do think it does do some unique things that I really do like about the game. And yeah, overall, I really do like Wingspan. They give me a hard time because they say I don't like it, but the truth is that I do, and that in something like this, where there's unwavering support for it, I just feel like there needs to be someone to say, you know, there are some things that might be difficult about the game. So maybe you don't go in thinking there's nothing that could ever make anyone frustrated.
There definitely are those things, but I would...
It doesn't alter the game for you guys, and that's great.
I would argue that there are some people that definitely do not like the game and talk a lot of trash about it because they know how much people do. There are people that do really like it.
Well,
so I don't think you need to be the only citizen doing that.
Well, but if they're watching our channel.
That's true. Yeah. We need someone to bring it down a little bit. Yeah.
Bring it down. It's just rough.
You need someone
to
bring
it back to like a more even.
It's just 7.6 for me.
Well, it ain't an 8.
Oh my goodness.
I have an 8 for it factor. It's the bird theme is just very unique, and I don't feel like it's like I said, the way it's handled. It feels like a very neutral theme. To where
I don't even like
divisive.
birds, and I'm like interested in the birds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean that's about it. You pretty much said everything there is to say.
10 out of 10.
So yeah, I give it a perfect 10.
You should have had like a little sign. We should get signs.
We should.
We need to get signs.
I'm gonna need a lot because I get very specific with my numbers.
Oh, that's true.
And where's my 7.325?
Just gonna have a stack of like 25 cards just to get through. Oh man.
You said you gave it a 7.6?
Yeah, so my overall is a 7.6, so still very high. Very high on a 10-point scale.
That is true.
Acknowledge.
That is fair, because I suppose I've looked at one of my friend's rankings on Board Game Geek, and I think his highest is an 8, possibly 1.9.
Wow.
And I'm just like, okay, I guess. Maybe I'm a little more generous with my rankings, but...
Yeah, I think everyone kind of has their own scale.
Yeah.
Well, there has to be, I mean, for you guys, there has to be a little bit of blindness to 10 to 10 to 10 to 10 to 10. There has to be a little bit of blindness.
There is some, I would say. I just really...
Yeah.
And but like we said, those blind spots don't matter to you.
Yeah. And
they don't change your view of it.
Yeah. I'll just say my thing. I'm 9.7. But I agree. I did have a little more. This is up just because lately we've been playing it a lot more, and I've had some really phenomenal back-to-back-to-back games. We played 3 in a row the other night, and I beat you, and my score just got very high. It pretty much increased every time. I did drop 2 points, but got up to my record high scores, and so it's on quite a bit of a high for me right now. But some of those things did used to bother me a little more, kind of.
It's interesting because the tracked plays, I think between us two, we have 10 games, and you've won 7 out of 10.
Huh.
So I don't know. You guys act like I'm really, really good at this game, but I don't know that
those are in the
I have played this game more with you than anybody else.
That's true.
Just saying.
I'll have to look at your victories.
Yeah, you'll find maybe one. I swear to you.
But, no. It's good to have those different thoughts on it.
Yeah.
But,
and to be fair, there probably are different games that I rate as 10s and these two won't. So that's exactly what being a board gamer is, and that's why we have so many different varieties of them.
That is true. I think it's just always tough when you really, really love a game, especially the person that you play the most games with, when they're like, I give this a 6 for preferences. Like, okay, now I see why we're only playing this one once or twice a year.
Our marriage is built on a lie.
She told me she loved Wingspan.
Like I said, we played this so much when we first got it, and I have to be in the right mood to play it against you. Otherwise, it's not going to be good. So And we want to keep it a game we play. And I feel
That's
like
true.
maybe I could do a better job at bringing it to the table for you, but we also have like 250 games. So
That is true.
I
That is
don't
also
know.
a thing. It does make it hard to get them all back to the table.
It does.
But
But it is one of your top like 3, right?
oh, you had to check out our top 10 games of all time to figure that out.
Yeah. Plug.
And while you're at it, check out the top 50 so you see which games she likes more than Wingspan.
Everyone's dying to know.
They want to know, Mac.
You're gonna have to watch pretty much every video to see all of them.
So yeah,
They're
definitely
sprinkled in.
watch all those and
Yeah.
you'll figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, otherwise that's our thoughts on Wingspan. If you've made it this far, give us a like, whether you liked it or not. Thumbs up, we'd definitely appreciate that. But otherwise, we hope to see you on the next one. And as always, don't forget to
Keep on nibbling.
on those eggs.
Maybe some bird seed.